Om. Om. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. In the Ramayana, in the 4th chapter, Sri Rama is searching for Devi Sita, and he comes to meet Sugriva. He's living in the jungle. In their interactions, they come to share their own hardships. Sugriva is always on the run from his brother. Sri Rama's wife has been kidnapped. In their dialogue, Sri Rama shares with Sugriva what is Mitra Dharma. That is, the qualities of a friend. And these are 3 in number. This is a very important subject. Please remember it. Please write it. And obviously live this and share this too. Number 1, empathizing. A solid friend, a solid friendship is one of empathy. Number 2, encouraging. Encouraging oneself and others to be better. Number 3, expending, which means to give without calculating. Empathizing, encouraging, expending. As we reflect on 60 weeks of meaningful mornings, of us being together, we are friends. We have a solid friendship. We're practicing empathy. We are being encouraging, and we're expending. We keep giving to each other. After Sugriva hears these insights from Sri Rama, it's as if Sri Rama asks Sugriva, "Who is your best friend?" And Sugriva responds by saying, Vali. The same brother that is trying to harm Sugriva, he says, is his best friend. And Sri Rama asks why. And he says, because Vali has brought me to you. If he wasn't on the run, he never would have met Sri Rama. Now, magnifying this to us, if it weren't for a virus, there may not be meaningful mornings or this community. And I obviously mean that in the most productive way, not in an ignorant way. Every one of us has 6 coverings. In Sanskrit, the word is kosha. Our lifestyle is 6, then body, breath, mind, intellect, ego. This is not new for you. You've studied this. I've shared this. We have 6 coverings. When one's lifestyle becomes pure, body becomes calm, breath becomes natural, mind becomes quiet, intellect becomes still, and ego becomes silent. Then we shift who we are from a covering to the center. If there's a covering, there has to be that which is covered. That is the center. In Sanskrit, we call this Atma. that which is closest. And the nature of the center, the Atma, is silence. When Sri Krishna shares this, and not in these direct terms, Prince Arjuna then asks, how does the one who is silent think and speak and sit and walk? And the answer to these questions is the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, which you all know. These Lakshanas are our sadhanas. It is lovely to be fascinated by the description of one who's living silence, but being fascinated is not enough. The vision of this portion of this scripture is for us to follow the script, to be silent. I've been trying to simplify this in more of a framework in English to 10. 10 signs of one who is independently joyous. Thus far, I've shared 7 and hinted at 8. Possess these. Possess just one of these. Be possessed by these 10, by these 1, by a sign. If this has become your feeling, then the vision of Sri Krishna's teachings has been fulfilled. Do this for him. Sri Krishna is our original parent. Sometimes we come across the message, now or never. I'm not fond of that. Now or never is a very short-term perspective. What I feel to be more practical is, if not now, when? If you don't possess one of these lakshanas as your sadhana now, when will you? There is no guarantee of how long meaningful mornings will continue, not from Vivek's perspective, but anything could happen to Vivek. Anything can happen to you. When will we have a more systematic and relatable way to experience this divine script? For those who are more culturally inclined, this Friday is Vyasa Purnima, Rishi Vyasa, the same Rishi Vyasa who has documented the Mahabharata, in which is the Bhagavad Gita. In our Dharma and Daily Living workshop last night, the raw I gave to all the seekers, this Friday, you start your own book club. You take up a book and you read it to be inspired as your dakshina to Rishi Vyasa. I shared in our Satsang and Smile course, their raw, which I really told them was a row, a reflection adventure of a lifetime, for you to take a vrata from a vishaya. Vrata means to commit not to do, to commit not to engage in a sense object, whether it's a psychedelic or alcohol or sugar, whatever it may be. Because Rishi Vyasa has given us everything. The least we can give back is reading more, being more disciplined. And specifically for our community, do you all remember when we began these Sthita Prajna Lakshanas? What day? We naturally, without any of my planning, started on June 30th, which for me is the birthday of my mentor, of my guide. And do you know what day we will naturally, without any of my effort, complete the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas? This Friday, which is Guru Purnima, This Friday is also the commencement of our silence retreat, our 10th. These Sthita Prajna Lakshanas are about the one who is silent. And here we have this retreat with 60 seekers. A week from yesterday, as in Monday, we start chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. It is the same week that the Mahasamadhi camp starts with the focus on chapter 3. I'm sharing all of this with you. How much more support do we need for these to become our sadhanas? If not now, when? Verse 69. Verse 69, 70, 71, 72. These are like a valedictory address. There's so much poetry in these verses. They're less teaching oriented. They're more of a reminder. Yanisha sarva bhutana tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato munehe. Yanisha sarva bhutana. Sarva bhuta, that's all of us. When it is night, Nisha, when it is night for us, tasyam jagarti samyami, for the one who is content, and all of the other virtues I've indicated, for them, jagarti, for them they are awake. In comparison, yasyam jagrati bhutani, when all of us are awake, sanisha pashyato munehe, for the muni is the one who can see. For them, it is night. This is a lovely visual that Sri Krishna is sharing. Whatever we're doing to be content, for the one who is content, they're not doing that. And whatever the one who's content is doing to be content, we're not doing that. So we have to reorient ourselves. Shared more practically. Clear thinking, or let me just focus on clarity, brings in conviction, which brings in confidence, which brings in contentment. When one is content, they never lose that confidence or conviction or clarity, irrespective of what environment they're in. See, for us, if we're morning people, but there's a great party at night, what happens to us? Due to lack of contentment, there's a lack of confidence, we become that night person. Yes? But for the one who's content, environment is not applicable. A muni is not someone with white hair. A muni is not a gender. A muni is manana shilavan. The one who is awesome in reflecting. Manana means to reflect. It is because of this pashyati that they see. But they're not seeing with their eyes only. We all do that. Nobody today is going to call you or me a muni. This seeing is vision. They know the source of joy is their own being. So pleasure, possession, position, they're asleep to all of that because they're awake to peace. This is why I've shared the 8th lakshana in a framework in English is be reflective. They are reflective. Our practice is to be reflective. And even more practically, every day engage in a freedom walk. Not just on Saturdays with me. That's environment specific. Every day engage in a freedom walk. It is conducive to reflecting so that one can be a muni, so that one can be content. This is what we need in our lives. What a beautiful visual from inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to share what has blown your mind over the past 20 days. And many of you have shared in the chat, and this will be copied and shared with me so I can read it carefully. For me, moksha, which is another term for independent joy, has gone from being a philosophy to being a possibility to being a probability. What you have given to me, meaningful mornings, specifically our orientation of Bhagavad Gita, that moksha is not a philosophy only, it's not a possibility only, it is a probability. And I pray that your mind has been blown in the same way. Your application for this morning, I want you to contemplate on all of the evas or visuals that have been shared in these Sthita Prajna Lakshanas thus far. We just came across a visual. The next verse is also a visual. So make sure you're contemplating on all of them today so they're clear for you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.